The first thing I noticed after signing the papers was how quiet the lake was.
Not peaceful quiet. Heavy quiet.
The kind that makes you feel like something is waiting for you to blink. The ranch had been bankrupted, foreclosed, passed around like a bad secret. Everyone told me I was lucky to get it cheap. What no one told me was that luck doesn't come alone out here.
It brings company.
I drove through the rusted gate just before sunset, dust trailing behind my truck, heart beating faster than it should have. The place was big, bigger than the listing photos suggested. A wide lake sat in the middle, water dark and still, framed by dead docks and leaning fence posts. The house looked tired but honest. I remember thinking, this is where I start over. I didn't even unload my bags before I heard engines. 3 trucks rolled up the gravel road like they owned it.
Slow. Deliberate. They didn't honk. They didn't wave.
They stopped right in front of my gate, blocking it completely. 1 white, 1 black, 1 red, all lifted, all loud, all wrong. The engines stayed running.
No one got out at first.
My stomach dropped because I already knew this wasn't a welcome party. A man finally stepped out of the white truck.
Late 50s maybe. Clean boots. Confident walk.
He smiled like he'd practiced it. He said my name, which is when I realized this wasn't random. He said they were from the Lake Ridge Association. Not an HOA exactly, he clarified, more like a community oversight board. I asked how they got my name so fast. He laughed and said news travels quickly when land changes hands. He told me the previous owner hadn't paid fees in years.
Access fees. Lake maintenance fees.
Road usage fees. He said I was now responsible for all of it. I told him the ranch was deeded free and clear. No association listed.
No easements mentioned. His smile tightened.
He said paperwork doesn't always reflect reality. Then he gestured at the lake and said without their cooperation, I wouldn't be allowed to use it. That's when the red truck door opened. A younger guy stepped out, arms crossed, staring at my house like he was measuring it. The black truck revved slightly, just enough to remind me they weren't in a hurry to leave. I felt cornered on land I'd owned for less than 3 hours. I told them I needed time to review whatever claims they had. The older man nodded and said time wasn't something I had much of. They left me with a folded packet and a warning. If I didn't come to their office by morning, they'd lock the access road and restrict utility crews. He said it calmly, like he was talking about the weather. Then they drove off, leaving deep tire marks in my gravel. That night I didn't sleep. I sat on the porch listening to the lake, replaying every word.
Something felt off.
The packet listed fees but no legal authority.
No recorded lien.
No signaturas primeras recognisa.
Just letterhead and confidence. I called the county clerk first thing in the morning.
Then a title attorney.
Then the bank that had foreclosed. Every answer pointed the same way.
No HOA. No association.
No legal right to collect anything.
By noon, the trucks were back.
This time they didn't stop at the gate. They parked sideways, blocking the road entirely. The older man didn't smile. He asked if I'd come to my senses. I told him I'd confirmed my ownership and their lack of authority. The younger guy laughed and said everyone confirms that at first. Then he pointed to the lake and said it would be a shame if I couldn't enjoy it. That's when I told them something they weren't expecting. I told them the lake wasn't communal. It was man-made. Dug and funded by the original ranch owner. Fully contained within my deeded boundaries. The so-called access road they threatened to block was on my land too.
Their trucks were trespassing.
The silence after that was louder than their engines. The older man asked where I'd heard that. I told him the county records, survey maps, and a 50-year-old water rights filing. I watched his confidence crack just a little. He tried to recover, said they'd been maintaining the area for decades. I asked for proof.
He had none.
I told them they had 10 minutes to move their vehicles before I called the sheriff. The younger guy scoffed until I pulled out my phone and dialed.
He swore under his breath. The black truck shut off its engine.
One by one, they backed up, slowly, carefully, like men realizing the ground under them wasn't solid anymore. Before he left, the older man warned me that I'd made enemies. I told him I'd bought land, not permission. He didn't respond to that. Weeks later I learned the truth. They'd been extorting every new owner who didn't know better.
Charging fake fees.
Using intimidation. The bankruptcy had scared them because banks ask questions. I didn't scare easily.
The county did the rest.
The lake is quiet now, but it feels different.
Lighter.
I still sit on the porch some evenings, watching the water move, thinking about how fast people try to take what isn't theirs. This ranch taught me something early. Ownership isn't just about buying land. It's about standing your ground when someone tells you it was never really yours.